Is BTS World Tour 2026 turning into a Jungkook show? Ticket storms, media hype, and a fan war. And oh, one saw Kaminji's this really still a BTS tour? Or is the world quietly preparing for something else entirely? The moment Bigot Music dropped the poster for BTS World Tour 2026 to 2027 on January 13th, 2026, the internet did not simply react. It exploded. More than 26 million views in hours, hundreds of thousands of reposts, replies flooding in from every corner of the planet, and one question that began to whisper in comment sections, fan forums, and international media headlines. Why does it feel like all eyes are drifting toward one name? RM, Jin, Suga, J-Hope, Jimin, V, and Jungkook were all there, written in artistic handwriting across a white background with striking red accents. Officially, it was a group announcement. But unofficially, something strange started happening almost immediately. The loudest screams, the fastest trending keywords, the most viral edits, the most aggressive ticket speculation, and the most dramatic fan debates kept circling back to one figure: Jungkook. Was it coincidence? Or was the world subconsciously preparing for a tour where Jungkook becomes more than just a member of BTS, from Goyang to Tokyo, from Busan to Jakarta, from London to Los Angeles? The tour route reads like a global conquest. April 2026 to March 2027. Asia, North America, South America, Europe, Australia. Dozens of cities, millions of tickets. One of the biggest musical events of the decade. Yet as dates, cities, and continents were being celebrated, another narrative quietly took shape. That this tour might be remembered not as a group comeback, but as the era when Jungkook dominated the spotlight. Why did that narrative appear so fast? Look at the reactions. Fans screamed, "I will be at BTS concert," in endless loops. Latin American army shouted in all caps, "Latino Americana present Dios mi wololo. Argentina gel Argentina papa." Even mascots joined the chaos. But inside the ocean of excitement, a pattern emerged. Jungkook's name was being repeated more than any other. Fan cams, fan edits, speculative setlists, imagined solo stages, viral tweets asking, will Jungkook open the show? Or will Jungkook close the show? Or will Jungkook get the biggest stage time? Flooded timelines, and then international media noticed. Articles began to hint at it carefully at first. Some called him the magnetic center of BTS's global appeal. Others described him as the member most likely to pull in casual listeners who aren't even ARMY. Some went further, asking openly whether this tour would mark the Jungkook era of BTS. These headlines did not come from fan accounts. They came from entertainment outlets that watch data, trends, and public attention like hawks. Ticket prediction pages started running simulations. Which cities would sell out fastest? Which dates would crash ticketing servers? Which members' fans would mobilize the most aggressively? Again and again, algorithms and analysts pointed toward the same conclusion. Jungkook-centered demand was unusually high. Why? Because Jungkook is not just popular. He is cross-border, cross-genre, cross-fandom. He pulls in hardcore ARMY, casual K-pop listeners, Western pop fans, TikTok audiences, and even people who do not follow BTS but recognize his face, his voice, or his name. His solo activities, his chart performances, his viral moments, and his image as the golden magne have turned him into a global magnet, and magnets change the direction of everything around them. As soon as the tour poster appeared, fan theories went wild. Some claimed the handwriting style of Jungkook's name looked slightly more prominent. Others argued it was imagination. Some pointed to imagined positioning in teaser visuals. Others said fans were overanalyzing. But speculation did not stop. It grew louder on Weverse, where official information was linked in Korean, English, Japanese, and Mandarin. Fans asked endless questions. Who will get opening stages? Who will get center positions in key songs? Will there be special solo stages? Will certain members dominate the encore? Every question, directly or indirectly, circled back to Jungkook. Then came the fan war, not the ugly kind with insults, but the dangerous kind that begins with emotion. Some fans began to say openly that if Jungkook draws the most attention, that is natural. Talent, popularity, and global appeal cannot be forced to be equal. Others pushed back hard, saying BTS was built on balance, brotherhood, and shared spotlight. They argued that turning the tour into a Jungkook show would betray the group's identity, and suddenly, a tour that was supposed to symbolize reunion after hiatus became the stage for one of the biggest internal debates in modern fandom culture. Is it fair if Jungkook gets more spotlight? Is it even avoidable? Can a group as massive as BTS still control how public attention flows? History suggests it is almost impossible to deny in every legendary group. There comes a moment when one member becomes the face beyond the group. Not because the others are weak, but because the world chooses a symbol. For BTS, many argue that moment has been slowly moving toward Jungkook for years. His visuals fit global beauty standards. His voice crosses language barriers. His performances feel both powerful and intimate. His personality feels approachable yet mysterious. When the 2026 to 2027 tour was announced, the world did not just see 7 names. It saw one name glowing a little brighter in the collective imagination. Look at Indonesia. For ARMY Indonesia, December 26th to 27th, 2026, in Jakarta is more than a concert. It is a national event. Social media in Indonesia exploded with countdowns, savings plans, outfit planning, and emotional posts about finally seeing BTS again. But in the middle of all that excitement, Jungkook's name dominated hashtags, captions, and fan art. Posters with Jungkook Jakarta appeared almost as often as BTS Jakarta. Why? Because many fans openly admit they are buying tickets for BTS, but especially for Jungkook. Some even say if they can only see one member clearly on stage, they hope it is him. That does not mean they hate the others. It means Jungkook has become the emotional shortcut into the BTS experience for millions, and that scares some fans. They fear imbalance. They fear jealousy narratives. They fear media twisting reality into conflict. They fear that members who sacrificed equally will be perceived as standing in one person's shadow. International media, of course, loves this tension. Articles frame it as drama. Headlines ask whether the tour will expose cracks inside the fandom. Commentators talk about spotlight politics. Some even speculate about internal group dynamics, despite no evidence of conflict among the members themselves. BTS has always shown unity, but media narratives do not need truth to survive. They only need attention, and attention is exactly what Jungkook brings. Is BTS World Tour 2026 turning into a Jungkook show? Ticket storms, media hype, and a fan war. One saw Kaminji's this really still a BTS tour? Or is the world quietly preparing for something else entirely? The moment Big Hit Music dropped the poster for BTS World Tour 2026 to 2027 on January 13th, 2026, the internet did not simply react. It exploded. More than 26 million views in hours, hundreds of thousands of reposts, replies flooding in from every corner of the planet, and one question that began to whisper in comment sections, fan forums, and international media headlines. Why does it feel like all eyes are drifting toward one name? RM, Jin, Suga, J-Hope, Jimin, V, and Jungkook were all there. Written in artistic handwriting across a white background with striking red accents. Officially, it was a group announcement. But unofficially, something strange started happening almost immediately. The loudest screams, the fastest trending keywords, the most viral edits, the most aggressive ticket speculation, and the most dramatic fan debates kept circling back to one figure: Jungkook. Was it coincidence? Or was the world subconsciously preparing for a tour where Jungkook becomes more than just a member of BTS, from Goyang to Tokyo, from Busan to Jakarta, from London to Los Angeles? The tour route reads like a global conquest. April 2026 to March 2027. Asia, North America, South America, Europe, Australia. Dozens of cities, millions of tickets. One of the biggest musical events of the decade. Yet as dates, cities, and continents were being celebrated, another narrative quietly took shape, that this tour might be remembered not as a group comeback, but as the era when Jungkook dominated the spotlight. Why did that narrative appear so fast? Look at the reactions. Fans screamed, "I will be at BTS concert" in endless loops. Latin American army shouted in all caps, "Latinoamericana present Dios mi wololo. Argentina gel Argentina papa." Even mascots joined the chaos. But inside the ocean of excitement, a pattern emerged. Jungkook's name was being repeated more than any other. Fan cams, fan edits, speculative setlists, imagined solo stages, viral tweets asking, "Will Jungkook open the show?" Or, "Will Jungkook close the show?" Or, "Will Jungkook get the biggest stage time?" Flooded timelines, and then international media noticed. Articles began to hint at it carefully at first. Some called him the magnetic center of BTS's global appeal. Others described him as the member most likely to pull in casual listeners who aren't even ARMY. Some went further, asking openly whether this tour would mark the Jungkook era of BTS. These headlines did not come from fan accounts. They came from entertainment outlets that watch data, trends, and public attention like hawks. Ticket prediction pages started running simulations. Which cities would sell out fastest? Which dates would crash ticketing servers? Which members' fans would mobilize the most aggressively? Again and again, algorithms and analysts pointed toward the same conclusion. Jungkook-centered demand was unusually high. Why? Because Jungkook is not just popular. He is cross-border, cross-genre, cross-fandom. He pulls in hardcore ARMY, casual K-pop listeners, Western pop fans, TikTok audiences, and even people who do not follow BTS but recognize his face, his voice, or his name. His solo activities, his chart performances, his viral moments, and his image as the golden magne have turned him into a global magnet, and magnets change the direction of everything around them. As soon as the tour poster appeared, fan theories went wild. Some claimed the handwriting style of Jungkook's name looked slightly more prominent. Others argued it was imagination. Some pointed to imagined positioning in teaser visuals. Others said fans were overanalyzing. But speculation did not stop. It grew louder, on Weverse, where official information was linked in Korean, English, Japanese, and Mandarin. Fans asked endless questions. Who will get opening stages? Who will get center positions in key songs? Will there be special solo stages? Will certain members dominate the encore? Every question, directly or indirectly, circled back to Jungkook. Then came the fan war, not the ugly kind with insults, but the dangerous kind that begins with emotion. Some fans began to say openly that if Jungkook draws the most attention, that is natural. Talent, popularity, and global appeal cannot be forced to be equal. Others pushed back hard, saying BTS was built on balance, brotherhood, and shared spotlight. They argued that turning the tour into a Jungkook show would betray the group's identity, and suddenly, a tour that was supposed to symbolize reunion after hiatus became the stage for one of the biggest internal debates in modern fandom culture. Is it fair if Jungkook gets more spotlight? Is it even avoidable? Can a group as massive as BTS still control how public attention flows? History suggests it is almost impossible to die, and every legendary group, there comes a moment when one member becomes the face beyond the group. Not because the others are weak, but because the world chooses a symbol. For BTS, many argue that moment has been slowly moving toward Jungkook for years. His visuals fit global beauty standards. His voice crosses language barriers. His performances feel both powerful and intimate. His personality feels approachable yet mysterious. When the 2026 to 2027 tour was announced, the world did not just see 7 names. It saw one name glowing a little brighter in the collective imagination. Look at Indonesia. For ARMY Indonesia, December 26th to 27th, 2026, in Jakarta is more than a concert. It is a national event. Social media in Indonesia exploded with countdowns, savings plans, outfit planning, and emotional posts about finally seeing BTS again. But in the middle of all that excitement, Jungkook's name dominated hashtags, captions, and fan art. Posters with Jungkook Jakarta appeared almost as often as BTS Jakarta. Why? Because many fans openly admit they are buying tickets for BTS, but especially for Jungkook. Some even say if they can only see one member clearly on stage, they hope it is him. That does not mean they hate the others. It means Jungkook has become the emotional shortcut into the BTS experience for millions, and that scares some fans. They fear imbalance. They fear jealousy narratives. They fear media twisting reality into conflict. They fear that members who sacrificed equally will be perceived as standing in one person's shadow. International media, of course, loves this tension. Articles frame it as drama. Headlines ask whether the tour will expose cracks inside the fandom. Commentators talk about spotlight politics. Some even speculate about internal group dynamics, despite no evidence of